On News Hour tonight, APC declares Tinubu as sole candidate for 2027 presidential election.
I hereby affirm the various endorsements and declare President Bola Ahmed Tinubu as the sole presidential candidate of APC.
Federal government files criminal charge against Natasha Akpabio Yahya Bello to testify. President Tinubu sends 1.48 trillion naira 2025 Rivers budget to National Assembly for approval. On the foreign scene, over 50,000 people stranded in Eastern Australia flood. Hello and welcome to Trust News Hour. My name is Idris Ayabaturi. The All Progressives Congress APC has endorsed President Bola Tinubu as the party's sole candidate for the 2027 presidential election. APC National Chairman Abdullahi Ganduji announced this on Thursday during the party's national summit in Abuja. The report.
The endorsement came hours after APC governor and lawmakers cast a vote of confidence in the president and endorsed him for a second term.
And dear members of our party, the journey so far is far from over. We must not become unworried. Now is the time to deepen our grassroots mobilization, embrace party discipline, and support the president's agenda with solid loyalty. Let us resist external sabotage and remain focused. Let us engage our communities, listen to the people, and build a political structure that will endure beyond election cycles.
The Progressive Governors Forum also endorsed Tinubu as their sole candidate for the 2027 presidential election. The forum's chairman and Imo State Governor Hope Uzodinma moved the motion, which was seconded by Kaduna State Governor Ubasani, signaling strong unity among the party's governors in support of Tinubu's bid for a second term.
I speak for members of the Progressive Governors Forum, governors elected, sponsored by the All Progressive Congress. As of today, we are 22 out of 36, but still counting. It is indeed a privilege to address this very important summit, convened to review the implementation of the renewed hope agenda under the leadership of His Excellency President Bola Ahmed Tinubu, GCFR. The decision of our party to initiate this structured reflection is timely and commendable. It reaffirms our commitment to measuring outcomes, correcting causes where necessary, and strengthening delivery.
Senate President Godswill Akpabio had led a delegation of National Assembly leadership to back Tinubu for the 2027 general elections at the All Progressive Congress APC National Summit at the Banquet Hall of the State House, Abuja.
Nigerians are saying that because you have done a difficult job well, that it is time for us to reward you by sending you back to the presidency for a second term in office. I move, therefore, as the Senate President of the Federal Republic of Nigeria, that Mr. President return, one, as a candidate of the APC unopposed, and secondly, as the next president for a second term come 2027. I so move.
Honorable Abbas Tajuddin, the Speaker of the House of Representatives, and I stand on behalf of the whole entire 109 senators, 360 members, and all the 36 speakers and their members to second this very important motion moved by the Senate President Asosekon.
Meanwhile, President Tinubu, speaking at the summit, justified the ongoing mass defection of the opposition members to the ruling All Progressive Congress, describing the phenomenon as an expression of democracy.
I just need to tell those ones saying one-party system is no good. It's one party ruling and driving the aspiration of Nigerians. Where do they start? You don't blame a people bailing out of a sinking ship when they have no life jacket.
Nigerians in some quarters have expressed concern over the possibility of the nation slipping into a one-party system following the recent wave of defection from the opposition to the ruling party.
Now, former Kaduna State Governor Nasiru El-Rufai on Thursday dropped a political bombshell revealing ongoing efforts to build a coalition aimed at unseating President Bola Tinubu. Speaking at the Arewa Tech Fest in Katsina, El-Rufai said the alliance seeks to send Tinubu back to Lagos, but noted that Communications Minister Boshun Tijani will be retained in any new government, praising his performance.
Our entire team came to Katsina yesterday, not only to work with the Katsina State government to carry out last-minute checks for preparation of this event, but they had to come without me. Because yesterday at 8 p.m. there was a very important meeting of the coalition we are putting together to ensure that President Tinubu goes back to Lagos, though we still keep the alright, we still keep the minister because he's doing good work, okay, but I'll come to that. So I had to attend that meeting at 8 p.m. and the Katsina airport does not operate after 8 p.m. so I couldn't come until this morning. We are booked to travel on Rano Air to arrive here about 9:30. Rano just cancelled. I think he must have been advised by the sitting government to cancel the flight. So I had two choices, either to drive and arrive at 4 p.m.
Now, the federal government has instituted a suit against the senator representing Kogi Central, Natasha Akpoti-Uduaghan, over alleged defamatory remarks made on live television. The suit filed before a federal capital territory high court on May 16, 2025 has Akpoti-Uduaghan as the sole defendant. The government accused the senator of making imputation knowing or having reason to believe that such imputation will harm the reputation of a person, citing Section 391 of the Penal Code Cap 89 Laws of the Federation 1990. The offense is punishable under Section 392 of the same law. The list of witnesses shows that the Senate President Godswill Akpabio and former Governor of Kogi State Yahaya Bello will testify during the trial. Now, the second prosecution witness in the ongoing trial of Nnamdi Kanu has told Justice James Omotosho of the Federal High Court in Abuja that the Eastern Security Network (ESN) established by Kanu is an illegal group, unlike Amotekun, which is backed by law. Testifying under the codename BBB, the witness made the claim while being re-examined by the prosecution counsel, Adeboyega Awomolo-san, who asked him to compare the activities of Amotekun and ESN. The witness stated that the Amotekun was established through laws passed by the Houses of Assembly of the 6 Southwest states, whereas ESN has no legal backing for its existence. He further testified that the Director General of the Department of State Services, DSS, had at some point advocated for community policing initiatives to combat insecurity on the condition that such efforts receive guidance and approval from recognized security agencies. Earlier during the hearing, Defense Counsel Paul Ekoroko-san tendered 3 video recordings contained in a flash drive, which the court admitted into evidence. The 3 videos open court. In one of the recordings, the DG of the DSS was seen speaking at a public event where He encouraged communities to create a first line of defense against bandits and other external threats. When asked by Erokoro whether the DSSDG was not effectively calling for communities to arm themselves, the witness clarifies that the DG had specifically noted that such efforts must be under the supervision of security agencies.
Yet, the cross-examination of the second prosecution witness was concluded today, and the court has adjourned the matter for 6 days. We're back on the 28th of May, the 29th of May, 6 June, 16 June, 18 June, and 19 June for the prosecution to continue to present their case.
Now, the Chief of Army Staff, Major General Olufemi Oluwede, has decried the recent death of soldiers involved in various operational theaters across the country. General Oluwede stated this during the 2025 edition of the Chief of Army Staff's biannual conference held at Maiduguri in Borno State. Oluwede, while regretting the loss of soldiers, encouraged his colleagues and men not to be discouraged by the recent development. He assured that the Army will prioritize its efforts to achieve better results at the front lines in collaboration with the Nigerian Navy and Air Force, including other sister security agencies in the country.
It is my expectation that the spiritual gathering will deliver strategic foresight, operational alignment, and insights where military and community engagements converge. During the deliberation of tropical issues, our goal will be to identify areas of improvement and develop practical solutions that will strengthen our effectiveness in safeguarding the national space and security. Because the Dangote Staff Annual Conference 2024, our acknowledged need for the Nigerian Army to commit towards aligning our kinetic and non-kinetic operations with the dynamic nature of the operating environment.
Now, the Yobe State Police Command has arrested 2 suspects in connection with the kidnap of a 22-year-old in Tashanranda village in Fika area of the state. This was disclosed in a statement by the State Police Public Relations Officer Dungus Abdul Karim on Thursday. The Yobe PPRO described the arrest as a significant success in the command's effort to maintain security and safety in the state. Abdul Karim said on May 6, 2025, armed individuals attacked the residence of a man identified as Maikudi, abducted his daughter, and injured another girl in the process. He stated that the kidnap syndicate requested 5 million naira for the release of the victim. According to him, operatives of the command took prompt action on the case and initiated an investigation that led to the rescue of the victim and the dismantling of the kidnappers' den. Now, President Bola Ahmed Tinubu has officially submitted the 2025 appropriation bill for Rivers State to the National Assembly for consideration following the suspension of the State House of Assembly. In a letter addressed to the Senate President Godswill Akpabio, the proposed budget totals 1.481 trillion naira with major allocations aimed at revitalizing key sectors. Infrastructure tops the list with a proposed 324 billion naira, while the health sector is allocated 106 billion naira, including 5 billion naira earmarked for free malaria drugs. The education sector is set to receive 75.6 billion, while 31.4 billion is proposed for agricultural development. In a formal communication to the National Assembly, President Tinubu is asking the senator for an expeditious consideration. The Senate has referred the bill to its ad hoc committee on emergency rule with instructions to review the proposal and report back to the chamber as soon as possible.
forwarding of Rivers State Government 2025 Appropriation Bill for consideration by the National Assembly. Further to the nullification of the 2025 budget of Rivers State by the Supreme Court of Nigeria, please find forwarded herewith the 2025 Appropriation Bill for Rivers State for consideration of the Senate. The distinguished Senate may wish to recall that Rivers State is currently under emergency rule, which was proclaimed and duly gazetted in March 2025. Regulation 4, subsection 2F of the Emergency Rule 2025 requires authorization for expenditure from the Consolidated Revenue Fund of Rivers State for its activities. In the absence of the State Assembly, it's expected that the National Assembly acts on that behalf.
Now, President Bola Tinubu is seeking the approval of 1.48 trillion naira for Rivers State 2025 budget, with major allocations to infrastructure, health, education, and agriculture. The request was read on the floor of the House of Representatives during a session that also saw yet another defection from the Labour Party to the APC. At Thursday's plenary, the Speaker of the House of Representatives, Abbas Tajuddin, read a letter from President Bola Tinubu requesting parliamentary approval for the Rivers State proposed 2025 budget totaling 1.48 trillion naira. A breakdown of the figures shows that infrastructure is pegged at 325 billion naira, health 166 billion naira, education 75.6 billion naira, and agriculture at 31.4 billion naira only.
Appropriation bill for the year 2025 is in the total sum of 1,481 billion, wherein the sum of 324 billion is for infrastructure, both ongoing and new projects. The sum of 166 billion is for health sector, including 5 billion for free drugs for treatment of malaria and other common ailments. The sum of 75.6 billion is proposed for education sector, and the sum of 31.4 billion for agriculture projects. The spending plan priorities investment in critical sectors of the state, such as infrastructure, health, including free drugs for malaria and other common ailments, education, and also agriculture, which is projected to generate approximately 6,000 jobs.
In a separate development, the Labour Party has lost another lawmaker as the member representing Eziogu Udi Federal Constituency of Enugu State, Sunday Umeha, announces his defection to the All Progressives Congress APC. But Minority Leader Kingsley Chinda swiftly challenged the move, citing Section 68. Subsection 1G of the 1999 Constitution.
The practice we experience in Nigeria, particularly in our parliament, appears to be confusing to democracy generally. And one thing that we should take home is that the time has come for us to also look at our constitutional provision on defection, and as part of our responsibilities, cause an amendment to it. I would therefore, Mr. Speaker, having laid this foundation, ask that for the first time that Mr. Speaker is called upon to exercise your powers and your rights as the Speaker of the Parliament and the defender of democracy under Section 68(1)G.
My dear Speaker of the 10th House of Representatives, it is with utmost humility and strict adherence to the relevant extant laws that I formally notify you and my colleagues that after wide consultations with my constituents, leaders and relevant stakeholders, I have resigned my membership in the Labour Party and defected to the ruling All Progressive Congress APC.
Now, advocates of student union government in Nigerian tertiary institutions are insisting that student unionism still holds value in Nigeria, despite challenges. According to them, student unions remain vital for promoting student welfare and fostering a sense of community. Trust TV's Antonia Ebohon has more.
Students' Union Government, SUG, is a representative body that governs and advocates for students' interests within a university or college. They typically consist of elected students' leaders who work together to address student needs and promote campus life, with its primary objective being to serve as a voice for students and advocate for the rights and needs of students. In the past, student unions were vehicles of societal change, serving as a strong voice for democratic values and good governance. However, in recent years, student bodies seem to have lost their luster and credibility and are increasingly being seen as problems of society. This is because of certain factors such as infiltration of student ranks by politicians, cult activities, corruption by student union executives, buying off of student leaders by elites and money bags, as well as infiltration of student elections by government, among others. Despite these, officials of students' unions believe their stay is vital in the education sector.
What I've observed is the SUG are currently trying their best to facilitate the affairs of the university, but we can't dispute the fact that godfatherism or manipulative structure has influenced a lot, has gone a long way. We have so many alumni, even though they are not in the school, but still have a grip over the constitution or the elective or all of them. By the time they are sworn into office, they want to fulfill the will of their godfather instead of their own personal will, which is currently affecting the structure of the school. And sometimes some people don't know what they are going for. Instead, they just want to go into the position just for the name, the caliber, or the recognition.
Actually, in anything that concerns politics, there will definitely be factions. Because if this person is contesting, another person is contesting, definitely some group of people will feel the other candidate or the other is the better candidate, and as a result, there will be faction in the movements.
The students that are coming out should come out for themselves. They should have a vision. What are the problems you see in this school? What are the challenges you face? What are the challenges your department, your faculty, your school is facing every day? We will experience it, not those that have graduated. We know what we are facing, not some people telling you this is okay, come out, this is what you will say, this is what you will do, this is no.
The school management and the student union body should come together and synergize together towards ensuring that the students' voice are represented, the student voice are heard.
I think the management should eliminate any form of election malpractice. Yes, that would be very good, to eliminate any form of cheating and other stuff like that.
The students are optimistic that the ideals that made student unionism a key aspect of tertiary institutions will be restored. Antonia Ebohon, Trust TV News, Abuja.
And now, in a related development, officials of the Student Union Government SUG at the University of Jos and several students have expressed different views on the state of unionism within the institution. Trust TV report that despite rising criticism of student unionism in Nigeria's tertiary institutions, many still believe it remains an important tool for advocacy and representation. Ado Musa completes the report.
Supporters of student unions argue that these bodies are essential for promoting students' welfare, safeguarding rights, and fostering a sense of community within campuses. They believe unionism continues to serve as a voice for students across the country. At the University of Jos, SUG officials maintain that student unionism remains both relevant and vibrant.
Different occasions calls for different activism. And so I don't know the serious occasion that was in those days that they said the student union was more vibrant. I don't know what was happening in those days, but I think they're still vibrant. We are still very, very vibrant. It depends on the case. So if a particular occasion comes up, I know that is triggering to students. I know students will still stand up and be the union government that they are supposed to be. because they did not stand up to fight like the other people took. Or maybe, I don't know, if they did not get up to choose violence over resolving with peace, then it doesn't mean we are less active or this generation are less active in unionism.
When asked whether student unions under democratic leadership have lost focus or sold out, the SUG Vice President shared her perspective.
I will always say human beings are human beings. I'm not in anybody's mind and nobody's in my mind. A good person can be in the government and will not be sold out. A bad person can be in the government and be sold out. So we don't know the heart of the people when we are electing them in. So they're the ones that choose for themselves. There are still good people everywhere we go. There are still bad people everywhere we go.
However, some students express concern that while unionism is still important, student leaders are not meeting expectations.
I can tell you for free that the role of unionism cannot be overemphasized in our universities. But I think the major setback facing the unionism now, so long as the country is concerned, is the influence of the should I say the administrators, ranging from the VC then down to the staffs, in such a way that the freedom of speech and some power are being devoted to the unions. From the SUG president down to all the committees are not being executed properly anymore.
For my own personal point of view, I don't see their relevance. And I'm just going to talk about one aspect that affects me. That's the slow academic calendar. Like last semester, we started last semester in October and we just finished in May. I feel like it's too long. It's too long for one semester, and they're in that position because they have our interests at heart. We are the reason why we are there, so they should represent us.
Student activists also share mixed opinions on the current state of unionism in tertiary institutions.
We have our comrades who have been in struggle, who are very, very vibrant to struggle. They are union leaders. We had lots of Comrade Prince Miafen, Comrade Olushola Ladoja, announced president. There also the likes of Friday Ega, Nanzonsi coordinator, which is North Central, which I am service director of peace and conflict resolution. You have a lot of comrades who fight for students. Then the fellow student needs leaders that can air out their voices. So the leaders need to be the voice of the voiceless. But now they have turned out to be a political magadogs or political foot soldiers or politicians, not airing the views or the tenet of which the real student unionism was created before.
Despite criticisms, many students remain hopeful that with commitment and transparency from student leaders, the challenges facing unionism can be resolved. Ado Musa, Trust TV News, Jos.
This is the News Hour on Trust TV. Coming up after the break. FCT indigents lament exclusion. More news when we return. Stay with us. Welcome back. If you are just joining us, this is the News Hour on Trust TV. Let's take a look at our top stories again. APC declares Tinubu as sole candidate for the 2027 presidential election. And federal government files criminal charge against Natasha Akpabio Yahaya Bello to testify. Now moving on to more stories, the Minister of the Federal Capital Territory FCT Nyesom Wike has cautioned against the possibility of Abuja becoming a Boko Haram stronghold in response to Senator Alin Dume's proposal to establish an internally displaced persons IDP camp within the FCT. Wike expressed concern that the FCT currently lacks the capacity to manage such a camp securely, warning that hosting IDPs linked to Boko Haram could potentially facilitate insurgent activities in the Abuja. This warning was given in the context of the FCT's 2025 budget defense, where Wike sought approval for a 1.78 trillion naira budget focused on capital projects and infrastructure, with less emphasis on social welfare programs for vulnerable groups. Wike's caution reflects broader security challenges in the region, as Boko Haram insurgent attacks have been increasing in Nigeria, particularly in the northeast.
is about the indigent or the displaced persons roaming in Abuja. It is not enough as Nigerians driving them, arresting them. What you need to do is to do what the Kano state government did as far back as in the 70s. That is picking the indigents, if you know, and you have a camp where you can feed and train them so that they will be off the street. If you have something like that already, that's fine. But it's very important because before somebody comes to the street to beg, it means he has nothing to eat. So if you can have a camp that will provide them such facilities, train them, and then take them off the street through that transitional method, is better.
This federal capital territory, the way Kano, the way Rivers, the way Sokoto, the way Ondo will not be the same way that will happen in the FC. Those you are talking about, they are not indigenous. They are not indigenous. People come from everywhere to just take over the whole of FCT. And you are saying that because we should that people, if they have work, it's not correct. That those who believe that they will continue to beg. That is the truth of the matter. And we'll tell ourselves a simple truth.
Now, the story of Abuja's rise as Nigeria's capital is often told with pride, a symbol of unity, a vision of modern nationhood. But beneath the wide boulevards and glass towers lies a quieter, painful story, one of displacement, cultural loss, and marginalization. As the city's skyline expanded, the original custodians of the land, the Bagi, and other indigenous groups were pushed to the fringes. Their ancestral homes, farmlands, and sacred spaces were taken to make way for the capital. And decades later, many say they are still waiting for justice. Trust TV's Abubakar Galadima visited some of these communities and heard voices rarely included in Abuja's success story.
Abuja was a dream crafted on paper, a city born of national ambition. But for those who originally lived here, it is a creation came at higher cost. Communities like Gosa Toge were uprooted, relocated, and in many cases forgotten. While government promises of compensation and resettlement were made, most were never fulfilled.
Ever since the federal capital was moved to Abuja, none of the promises made to us have been fulfilled. All our farmlands were confiscated, and we are facing severe hardship. The government took all our lands for urban renewal without proper compensation. We even went to court to challenge some illegal demolitions. Till now, nothing has been done.
Village head Autapo Subawa recalls how generations of farmland were swallowed up by bulldozers. The pain of loss is not just physical, it is cultural. Dalladi Jeji, president of Ohida, says that for years, indigenous communities have been fed lip service. No real compensation, no access to political power, no stake in the city that was built around over them.
The body language of the Nigerian government is clearly showing that Nigerian government wants FCT to be seen as virgin land, and it is not democratically correct. So this has brought all the agitation that is before FCT people, and yesterday was a climate of protesting what Nigerian government have done. This administration is clearly trying to address it by creating one avenue to start resolving that by developing North Central Development Commission. And in the act bringing that the North Central Development Commission clearly spelled out that all the states that are composed of the Development Commission of the geopolitical zones will be leaders emanating from those states following alphabetical arrangement.
For Selina Abu, a younger voice in the movement, the call is simple: give Abuja's original inhabitants meaningful political recognition. She advocates for a creation of a state that truly represent and protect their heritage.
That word saying FCT is going to be treated as if it is a state, that if should be removed so that will become a state of FCT.
While Abuja represents national pride, its founding came at the expense of those who once lived freely on this land. Today, many of them live without basic infrastructure, educational access, or political inclusion. As sleek government buildings and luxury estates define the city's modern identity, the original settlers remain in informal communities. Their voices are frequently drawn out by wealth, bureaucracy, and silence. The divide was once again spotlighted during a recent Senate debate on the Federal Capital Territory budget, where Senator Nwambui stirred controversy by suggesting that indigenous communities near the Abuja airport be relocated to enhance the city's aesthetic appeal for visitors.
The type of infrastructure within the environs, Your Excellency, does not represent the good image of this country. And I think that the FCT minister should capture in their next budget, if not incorporated in this, to either relocate the inhabitants of the people within the airport or renew the area, at least, because that is the mirror of the country as we are descending into Abuja Airport. Abuja Airport, do you agree with it? Those in support say aye. No, those in support say aye. Those against say nay. The nays have it.
The remark triggered backlash seen by many as yet another attempt to erase the presence of those who have already lost so much in the name of development. And the question still echoes from the villages just beyond the expressways. When will Abuja, the nation's capital, truly become home for those it displaced? Abubakar Abdullahi Galadima, reporting for Trust TV.
Now, agricultural experts have advised farmers to consistently monitor seasonal rainfall patterns and adopt climate-resilient seed varieties to prevent yield loss throughout the farming season. They gave the advice during an interview with Trust TV's Adamu Imam in Bauchi amid renewed interest in agriculture for the 2025 wet season. The report.
Climate change remains one of the major challenges giving farmers sleepless nights, necessitating constant vigilance and adaptation of weather changes. Agriculturalist Kule Bamboshe and Adamusar Kinyara emphasize the importance of farmers being well informed about weather forecast and using improved seed varieties to ensure better harvest outcomes.
Different categories. We have the early maturity, mid maturity, and late maturity. And most farmers doesn't even know anything about the history of the seed they are planting. So, for example, if the seed in your hand is going to mature in 150 days, and then your rain pattern is showing that you have rainfall for 120 or 130 days, definitely you have automatically failed.
Your seed, is it a high yielding variety? Is it disease tolerant? Can it resist drought? What is its maturity period? Will it mature within the days that you have stable rainfall? For example, now in Bauchi local government, based on NIMET weather, we have about 160 to 164 days. So if you remove the possible days that we may have unstable rainfall, we are talking about 120 days.
They noted that Nigerian farmers often face significant challenges at the early stages of farming, adding that these challenges are worsened by poverty and limited knowledge of effective agricultural practices, leading to frequent and sometimes total loss of farm produce. I'll prepare ahead of time for this farming season. As we speak, my improved seedlings are readily available, just waiting for the land to be cleared and ready. Also, my herbicides are in place. I'm hoping to get fertilizer because after 2 weeks, I will apply for fertilizer and then everything will have been in place.
It is not the only climate change that is affecting we farmers, especially the fertilizer, insecticide is very, very costly. To even get fertilizer is giving us headache. That's the majority problem we are facing. We are begging the government to assist us in all these things as a farmer.
On the other hand, government representatives say they have continued to provide support through loans and intervention programs even before the onset of the rainy season. However, farmers' challenges persist despite these efforts. Adam Imam, Trust TV News, Bauchi.
Now, the Borno State government has prohibited the illegal felling of trees for commercial and domestic purposes. This was disclosed during a press briefing held in Maiduguri on 2 executive orders, namely ban on felling of trees and enforcing environmental sanitation. The Borno State Commissioner of Environment, Ahmad Ekoes, decried the alarming rate of tree felling in the Sahel region, which has caused environmental challenges such as desertification, shrinking of the Lake Chad, climate change, and drought, among others. He revealed that the 2 executive orders signed by Governor Zulum will prosecute violators of tree felling. He added that it has procured gas cylinders, briquettes, and clean cook stoves for distribution to discourage tree felling for commercial and domestic use.
His Excellency Professor Morgan Umar Zulum, in his own magnanimity, approved Executive Orders 1 and 2. One is for tree felling, against tree felling, and the other one is on environmental sanitation days. First of all, we want to extend our sincere gratitude to His Excellency for coming to our aid at this very important time. As you can see, our trees are diminishing within the cities and forests as well. Borno being one of the Sahel areas, Sahel state, in fact, we are facing challenges, environmental challenges, ranging from desertification, shrinking of the Lake Chad, climate change, drought, and what have you.
Now, the Kano State Fire Service has confirmed the death of 2 men following an incident involving an open water ditch. The service also announced the successful rescue of 2 others trapped in a well. According to a statement signed by the Public Relations Officer of the State Fire Service Assistant Chief Fire Officer Samini Yusuf Abdullahi, the 2 men, Saifullahi Muhammad, 27, and Halifa Abdullahi, 29, both residents of Gommaja quarters, died after jumping into a ditch in a bid to escape an attempt to collect outstanding debts. Earlier the same day, the fire service received another emergency call, this time from one of its staff members, Usman Aminu, reporting that 2 well drainers were trapped in a well in a Dam Malik village near Chalawa filling station. A rescue team dispatched from the service headquarters upon arrival discovered that the workers had descended into the well without adequate safety equipment and were overcome by heat and lack of oxygen. Fortunately, both men were rescued alive and later confirmed to be in stable condition. Now, the Lagos State Police Command has confirmed the death of a 60-year-old motorcycle operator, Wasiu Babatunde Adeniran, who was swept away by flood waters during heavy rainfall along the Lagos-Abeokuta Expressway in Alakuko, Lagos. In a Thursday statement signed by the State Police Public Relations Officer Benjamin Hundeyin, the command revealed that the incident occurred on May 20, 2025 at about 4 p.m. Adeniran reportedly lost control of his motorcycle amid a downpour and was dragged by the raging flood. Effort to locate the victim began immediately, with Adeniran's motorcycle located downstream around 6 p.m. on the same day, while his body remained missing until the next morning. Police detectives promptly visited the scenes of the incident and recovery document evidence to aid their investigation. The police command reiterated its commitment to ensuring a thorough investigation while extending its condolences to the bereaved family. Now, the Edo State government on Thursday said it has uncovered and sealed a brothel inside a primary school in Essen West local government area of the state. The state coordinator for the protection of government property, Eugene Okolosi, who disclosed this at a press brief conference in Benin City, added that over 2,000 plots of land encroached upon have also been recovered. Okolosi noted that so far, over 150,000 houses in the state are built on government land and appealed to those who want to acquire landed properties to get clearance from the Edo Geographic Information Service to avoid falling victim to the criminal activities of land grabbers. Okolosi revealed that the agency has received over 3,000 petitions from communities regarding illegal acquisition of government property in the last 2 months and vowed to recover them. He commended Governor Pebolu for the provision of legal counsel to the agency to ensure the smooth prosecution of offenders. You are watching News Hour on Trust TV. The news continues after the break. Welcome back. And now in business, Dangote Petroleum Refinery and Petrochemicals Company has announced another reduction of 15 naira in the price of its high-quality premium motor spirit PMS, popularly known as petrol. The reduction was announced by the company in a statement made available to newsmen on Thursday in Lagos. According to the firm, as a result of this reduction, Nigerians in Lagos will now purchase the product at 875 naira per litre, 885 naira per litre in the southwest, 895 naira per litre in the northwest and north central, while it will be sold for 905 litre per litre in the southeast, south-south and northeast. These prices will apply through all its partners, including MRS, AP Adova, Hydin, Optima Energy, Techno Oil, and Hedi. The refinery called on other marketers to join its expanding network of partners, thereby demonstrating their support for President Bola Tinubu's Nigeria's first policy, which advocates the prioritization of locally produced goods and services. Now, the federal government plans to raise a total of 300 billion naira in revenue from the domestic bond market in May 2025. The auction will be held on May 26, with settlement slated for May 28, 2025. The bond market remains a critical funding channel for the government as it balances competing priorities of economic stimulus, debt sustainability, and investor confidence. In its last few auctions, the DMO has witnessed significant oversubscription, suggesting that the May 2025 issuance is likely to attract robust demand despite the slight reduction in total offer size. According to the bond document obtained from the Debt Management Office DMO on Thursday, the revenue target is a 12.5% drop from the 350 billion naira offered in April 2025. Now, Shell Nigeria Exploration and Production Company Limited says Nigeria companies have a lot to benefit if they are prepared to take advantage of more opportunities in its offshore and shallow water oil and gas project. Speaking at the 5th Nigerian Oil and Gas Opportunity Fair in Yenagoa, Bayelsa State on Thursday, SNEPCO MD Ronald Adams said projects such as Bonga Southwest, Aparo, Bonga North and Bonga Man Life Extension will grow Nigeria business and improve their expertise if they apply themselves seriously to execute high-value contracts. Adams said Nigeria companies could upscale their skills and continue to offer services in logistics, drilling, fabrication and construction of subsea manifolds, mooring and loading systems, pressure vessels and provision of gas processing equipment in deep water, as well as procurement and civil works in shallow water. He noted that since starting production at Bonga in 2005, SNEPCO has been supporting Nigeria's contractors and service providers to grow their capacity through the development of System A competent workforce, with the aim to deliver projects safely, on time and within budget, not only in Nigeria, but also in the West African sub-region. Now, away from Nigeria, the Democratic Republic of Congo Senate will on Thursday debate lifting the immunity of ex-President Joseph Kabila, who the government accused of supporting a Rwanda-backed militia in the mineral-rich East. A vote in favor could expose the 53-year-old to prosecution on charges of supporting the M23 armed group, which has seized Swathies on the eastern DRC with Rwandan support. His successor, President Felix Tshisekedi, accused Kabila of conspiring with the M23, whose recent lighting offensive has intensified the more than 3-decade-long eastern conflict. Kabila has been outside the country since 2023, according to his entourage, without revealing his whereabouts. Justice Minister Constant Mutamba in April urged the military courts to take up the case against Kabila, who led the DRC between 2001 and 2019. And now rising flood waters have reportedly stranded more than 50,000 people in eastern Australia as torrential rain plummeted waterlogged towns for a second day as overflowing rivers swallowed roads, leaving 2 dead. Police have pulled 2 bodies from floodwaters on the mid-north coast, a river-braided region of rugged hills and fertile valleys about 400 kilometers, 250 miles north of Sydney. Authorities have launched a major search and rescue mission as people clambered out atop cars, houses and highway bridges to escape the tide of muddy water. And now it's time for Sport Update with Joseph Peter.
The Nigerian women basketball team, the Tigers, and the Nigerian Basketball Federation gears up for one of the best basketball events held in Nigeria. The multiple award-winning the Tigers will for the first time play on national soil after winning 5 back-to-back Afro Basketball Championship led by coach Rena Wakama. The African champions will take on high-rising Togo and yet-to-be-named team in Abuja. As part of the tournament, the players will help run women empowerment program as they hold basketball camps for up-and-coming stars. The events, games, and activities will be hosted here in the Capital Territory. The Tigers International Tournament brings to the public that Nigeria's dominance in women basketball is a testament to the strength, resilience, and excellence of the country's female athletes. This tournament is designed as a key preparatory event for the Tigers ahead of the FIBA Women's Afro Basketball 2025, which will be held in Abidjan, Ivory Coast. The tournament is offering an opportunity for high-level competition that will enhance the team's performance. Now in football. The Eyimba Stadium in Aba is the center for Saturday's President Federations Cup semi-final clash between multiple winners Rivers Angels and Ibom Angels. The cup holders will face off with Ibom Angels in what is a repeat of the 2017 and 2018 final matches, which Rivers Angels won on both occasions. Edo Queens take on 2005 and 2019 champions Nasarawa Amazons in the second semi-final, making it a tie that promises to be a thrilling encounter in Kogi State University town Ayingba. To reach 2023 winners Bayelsa Queens in the round of 16 and Sunshine Queens in the quarter-finals. That's Sport News. I'm Joseph Peter.
And with that, we have come to the end of the News Hour on Trust TV. Do not forget to follow us across all our media platforms and also watch us live on YouTube for more news programs and documentaries. My name is Idris Baturi, thanking you for being with us. Good night.